In the next minutes, we will look at the Azure Stack multi-tenant subscription delegations. So a way for the Azure Stack operator to actually get rights inside the tenant subscriptions, as well as a few options for creating a support ticket in the CSP context. Here we have an Azure Stack ASDK, which is registered against the AZ Stack Reseller 1 AAD. So this was used to provide the identity of the ASDK, and we used that AAD to configure it. And I've also registered a couple of new tenants. So the system has been enabled for multi-tenancy, and then we've onboarded two tenants. One is called AZ Stack Test 1, and the other one is Test 2. And you can see here the both tenants being separate resources, right? So you have, this is the Test 1, and you also will see the AZ Stack Reseller 1, which is our initial AAD, so the one which we actually use to log in Azure Stack, right? So the same things will be visible from PowerShell. So if we go back here to PowerShell and we connect to Azure Stack, and then we run this get Azure RM resource and filtered by the directory tenants resources, you'll see these three resources. So the initial AZ Stack Reseller 1, and then the two test domains listed as well. What I've also done here was to create a public offer. So if we go to offers, and you'll see here the test offer 1, and this is created as a public offer, right? So anybody can use it to create new subscriptions. We've used a number of quotas and plans to create this offer. So we have them in this plan 1. And if we look at subscriptions, we'll see 2 subscriptions already created based on this offer, right? So we already have it in use. Now, if we go to resource providers and we double check the quotas, we can see each of the specific settings. So we have a custom quota built, and we have inside the specific settings for each of these, right? Now, moving forward and switch over to the tenant directory, you'll also see that we don't have any subscriptions created here. We could do it, but we haven't created anything yet. So if we look under subscriptions, you'll see nothing is created here. So the 2 subscriptions you've seen earlier were actually created under our test 1 tenant, right? Now, if we were to connect to their tenant directory, so we would connect, this would prompt an error saying that the user is not actually recognized by that tenant. You don't have any rights inside that tenant space. So this is one of the differences between the public Azure and Azure Stack. On Azure, whenever you do admin on behalf of, you would be connected to the actual tenant space, and you are the owner of that subscription, Azure subscription, right? So on Azure Stack, the subscriptions belong to the tenants themselves, which means you as a CSP provider, you would need to be given rights inside that tenant space, right? And once you're given rights, you will need to be assigned rights to the actual subscriptions. So to take a look at how this would be done, we will need to go AAD of our test 1 directory. So we'll need to, using the admin from our test 1 directory, we'll need to connect to portal azure.com and then select the Azure Active Directory. So in here, we will invite the admin user of our reseller 1 directory, right? So this is the CSP directory. So we'll need to paste, well, we need to paste the correct one. As you can see, I've pasted the test 1 here. So we'll need to paste the reseller 1 admin. Once this is done, an invitation will be sent to that user, and they will be added in the directory, right? So this will go out, And once it's sent, we can go back to our Azure Stack portal, and under subscriptions we can delegate rights to that newly added user. So if we go here to access control and we select, let's say, an owner, we will find the new added reseller 1 admin, right? So we save it, and now we can delegate rights to this guy. So there's an important trick here, though. When we go back to our reseller 1 user and we try to do the same thing, so we will try to connect now to the tenant of our test 1, so the user tenant. There's an important piece missing, so this will fail, and the message will be that the user doesn't have rights in there. It does not exist, right? Although we added that, and we also gave him permissions, the user itself is not confirmed in that directory. So an email is sent out, and when the email is sent out, the user will need to there's a link, and the user clicks on that link, and the confirmation is made, and the user is properly added to the tenant directory as a guest. So if you don't have an email, there is one way to do it. We will need to go back to the AAD of our tenant and resend the confirmation. So if we go back here and we select the reseller 1 admin, you'll see a resend invitation link, and once you click on that, it actually will give you the link which is supposed to be in the email. So if you don't have an email, you can just paste it from here, and now we will go back in the context of our reseller 1, paste the link, and this will prompt welcome to Azure Stack Test 1. So this is our tenant. So we say next, and now we are properly added to that guest directory. So at this point, if we switch back to Azure Stack, the user portal in Azure Stack, and we, by using our reseller 1, we connect to the tenant of test 1, you'll now see under subscriptions, here. So under subscriptions, you'll see you actually have a sub 1 in there. Okay, so we were added as an owner here, so we can do anything we want. So to give an example, let's switch back to the test 1 directory and go under the Azure Stack subscriptions, and under subscription 2 we will give our admin reseller 1, let's give it rights as let's say a reader. So we select reader, we select our reseller 1 and add him as a reader on the subscription. And going back to the reseller 1 context, we will just refresh the window, and now we will see the 2 subscriptions in there, right? So at this point you're able to manage both subscriptions, one as an owner, one as a reader. Azure Stack provides an integrated support experience which is consistent with Azure. So a ticket would be open in the same way, and regardless of where you open the ticket, so say it's a hardware issue or a software issue, it would be sorted in the end. So it doesn't matter who you're reaching out to first. Of course, it would help if you're able to identify where the issue is coming from to directly target that respective partner. So say it's a problem with an update process, you would probably reach out to Microsoft directly. There are multiple scenarios for support, and we have published a document which goes into more details around them, and you can find that on the EAI site. In the following examples, we will look at a CSP context and what are the steps to actually open a support ticket. In the following example, we will use AZ Stack Reseller 1, which is an owner of the Azure subscription, an Azure CSP subscription, but it's not added as an admin agent on the CSP side. So if we go to portal Azure.com, we can open we can go to new support, so help and support, and try to open a new support request, right? So opening the request, you'll provide the issue type. So let's say we have a technical issue, and which is a subscription. So we select the Azure subscription we have, and then what service is causing that issue. So let's say Azure Stack. And at this point, you'll be greeted with a message saying that you need to reach out to your cloud service provider. So the reason behind this is that our AZ Stack Reseller 1 admin is not added as an admin agent on the CSP side. Although they are an owner of the subscription, so they can manage anything inside the Azure subscription, they're not added as an admin agent on the CSP side. So here I am connected with an admin agent. So you can see the partner center, and if we open a portal Azure.com, this would be the CSP tenant itself, right? So if we go under support and we try to open a new support request, you'll actually see there's no technical here. The reason behind it is, as a CSP admin, the subscription itself doesn't have, so the tenant itself doesn't have any subscriptions in here, right? So what we'll need to do is we will need to actually connect to the AZ Stack Reseller 1 tenant, right? So if we connect under this Reseller 1 tenant, we are also owners of the subscription. This is a CSP Azure subscription, so any admin agent would be also an owner of the subscription, right? And now if we go under help and support and do the same thing, new support request, and then select the technical issue, select the subscription, the service would be in this case Azure Stack, right? Oh, my bad, not batch service, unless you have an issue with batch service, but we wanted to open a support ticket with Azure Stack. And now the support plan will be the CSP support, right? So if you have other support plans, they will be listed here as well. And now you'll have the normal problem support request. So this is you specify the severity, the what is the issue coming from. You provide some details around it, and then off you go to actually provide the contact information and to create the actual ticket. And that's one way to do it. The second way you can actually create a new support ticket is through the partner center, and under support you have customer requests, right? You type the name of your tenant. So let's say AZ Stack Reseller 1 in this case, right? And once you click this, you have an option to create a new support request. And if you click on Microsoft Azure, what happens is, and if you notice, you'll be redirected to the Azure portal, and you'll go through the same experience we went through before. So the way you start the process is different. You will go through Partner Center, but other than that, everything else will follow in the same way. Right, so the end result would be the same in this case.